Nice. Hello. Thank you, Alexander, for taking the time for this interview to talk with me. And also very exciting because you were at both gatherings. You
Yeah.
are signing yourself into our MVP fan club. So yeah, I just wanted to ask you a few questions, get your experience. So maybe to start with, what impact did the gathering have on your organization and your work?
Oh, nice. Um, I feel that the gathering and I take the gathering together with a few weeks that came right after because with the Gaianet core team we stayed in Portugal for a couple more weeks to make sense of the gathering, to decompress and to meet some people that we met at the gathering too. And yeah, I like to say that it felt like in that month time, Gaianet matured by 1 year in in the sense of understanding Gaianet's role in the ecosystem because there are just so many direct touch points with the ecosystem that it became really clear what Gaianet is special for compared to others and what things others are doing or are doing better and what are things that make Gaianet unique. So in all those interactions, we got some confirmation about value that Gaianet brings and what the organization should focus on versus um, yeah other things like ideas that may be in the space but are not really for us. So I would say organization-wise, that is the biggest gain.
That's beautiful. That's amazing because that's exactly my dream for what the gathering gives or organizations. I'm pitching it these days as a event that's transformational for organizations because there's lots of beautiful events which are transformational for individuals. But the dream is that the gathering is transformational for organizations,
Yeah.
communities, companies, all of that. So I'm curious, what kind of connections did you make? Can you share any stories? Any new projects started?
Um, Yes and no. Definitely met some exciting new connections through the camp mostly. Also a few through other camps, but mostly through our own camp. And what I really love is that we got to deepen some valuable connections by sharing space and time at the camp together. And that is for me something unique at the gathering is indeed there's the professional angle, show up as an organization, and we get to really connect as humans. So yeah, both a few new connections and I would say mainly the deepening of some really core connections were most valuable to me.
Nice. And Gian Andrea, the place you're at now, didn't the gathering play some role in that?
Yes, it did. It was already on the table in August. We've been already talking about it before the gathering, and actually, it was one of the reasons I invited John Andrea to the gathering, so we could spend more time in person and we could each gauge more like, is this a match? Because before we move in together, let's at least hang out. So. So yeah, in that sense, that was one of the examples of relationship. It was pretty fresh. It was there already, but we really got to deepen that together at the gathering.
Uh, nice, cool. So the vision of the gathering is to build the regenerative ecosystem of collaboration. How do you think the design of the gathering can do this better? How much did it achieve it, and what could we do to do it better?
Yeah, simply said, I think what the gathering is great at is establishing connections and deepening the ones at work. You know, you build a lot of trust in a short time because you meet each other in so many different contexts. It's not just a conference where everybody puts their best face on, and go back. No, you see each other's early morning phase and each other's dance like crazy phase, and you see how people show up in terms of volunteering at the camp and cooking and stuff like that. So it's immense trust building. Then when you speak about collaboration in the regenerative movement, I'm feeling like true collaboration doesn't really happen yet. It's really the spark, the ignition, the connection, the trust building. And then by the time you could get to work, the gathering is over. And that is really, I mean, it's also one of the reasons why we initiated Philagaya together with Gian Andrea and Gaianet Futura core team is because we feel there's so much work to be done together. We need more time and space together. And what we're experiencing here now, it shows exactly what we expected. It's just in the small in-between moments and the shared community dinners, etc. There's so much co-creation, so much collaboration happening. So that would be the one thing if the gathering could be 5 days and there would be till end of a couple of weeks for like co-working in whatever settings. I haven't fully figured it out, but like, yeah, if you speak about collaboration, I would say more time and space will be needed.
Yeah, I mean, I think so from next year, I really hope we go to 7 days because I've always known we need 7 days, but already 5 days people are like, oh my God, it's so long. So I knew people had to experience it themselves and say, wait, this is short. Because actually 5 days sounds a lot until you realize that you have arrival and departure. So 5 days is 3 days. And then
Yeah.
first day you're getting your bearings, and second day da da da. And exactly like you say, the third day you're ready to get stuff done and it's time to go. So definitely longer. I think the 1 month, I really love what you're saying. I think we need pop-up villages. We need a regenerative pop-up village somewhere somehow. I think some people are working on it, but cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Any other thoughts on how the gathering could support Gaianet?
Um, yeah, maybe some things around networking app or matchmaking with other participants in advance,
Right.
where
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
people have their profiles and can say, oh, I'm hoping to meet this and this kind of person, that there's some facilitated matchmaking, especially because there were 500 people now. So you couldn't meet everyone. Virtually everyone with who I struck up a conversation was like meaningful and beautiful presence and inspiring, right? But to really be able to find the gems that could help. Um, and yeah, so the size is something to consider. The first gathering was, of course, 150-ish people.
It added up like with other people in this that to 200, 250, but yeah.
Yeah. And some days busier than others. There was more the feeling of like all of us being together. And in the recent gathering, also because of the shape of the land, it was a bit more scattered. And I really love the location and the vibe and all of it. It's just like some people never found our camp and vice versa. And some people spoke of the library. Apparently, there's a library somewhere.
You
Some
never
people
found
went.
the library?
I only found it on departure day. I've heard people who said I've been searching for library, never found it. It's just one example, right? And
It was the library was amazing. It was the best produced piece of experience. But
yeah,
actually, to be honest, I like this. And it's part, for me, it's part of the magic because you have that sense of discovery. And then you go and you're always discovering something, and then you go to some corner and you meet some person. And I had that experience. Yeah, and I would sit down and a person I hadn't seen at all, and then I had this amazing magical conversation and connection. So this is what, I mean, I have many of the experience or the feeling that I have is inspired by Burning Man, and there it's this forever wonderland where you're going and there's always something more to discover. So also now as people complain about FOMO, but now as the gathering is going global and it will be in different countries, you have to choose not just your camp, but which country you go to and when. So
Yeah.
a big
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that definitely
I
benefits
think
too.
I still don't know how, but I agree with you. The digital stuff is really good at creating those connections and that, so I think we need to work and think about that also in terms of recording things. I'm big on big in public. But when you're in a physical place that like I'm lost and I wander into a random thing, and maybe it's not even person, maybe it's a tree, and you just sit there under a tree and you discover that, well, actually that half hour of me sitting alone under this tree in this place was exactly what was needed for me at
Yeah.
that moment. So yeah, a rich environment is cool. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you.
Yeah, about the digital part. Let's see how things are evolving because I can imagine when HiveMind is operational and when the Gaianet membership is in the next level, there can be really simple ways to
Exactly. This
just
is
plug in and
This
yeah,
is also why I didn't invest, even though I'm a digital computer guy, I didn't invest so much into that because I really keep on hoping there's so many people like Gaianet and others that are doing online stuff. I'm hoping that somebody will pick up that baton and do
yeah,
it, or multiple ones, right? It doesn't need, I don't think it would ever make sense to say this is the community and you have to join this one. But if there is Gaianet or some meta community or something, or otherwise, if in the next, my warning to you, if in the next 2 3 years you guys don't get your shit together, I'm going to get my shit together and develop it because somebody's going to. But I
two,
really
three
hope so.
years should be doable for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.